Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Now, in this video, we're going to be going through some OnlyFans chatting training. All right, so more about the inside of chatting to the model subscribers to make the most money. Okay, so this isn't really going to be covering in terms of how to manage virtual assistants to do that for you, such as chatter onboarding, chatter tracking, end-of-day reports from chatters, pre-training chatters. It's not going to cover any of that, but it is going to be very helpful for you to make more money inside of the model's account. So let's get straight into it. As you can see, here is some proof and evidence here. Managing a model who's doing 100,000, 80,000 a month. And yeah, so with OnlyFans chatting, there's one plain and simple goal that should be in your mind at all times. And that is that the purpose of chatting is to make money. That's it. Whether you're driving the conversation to sell sex and sets, or you're sending pay-per-views, or even building more emotional connections that you can leverage later to sell more content, that is the purpose of all the chats that should be taking place inside of the model's account. Okay. So if you're chatting and it's not steering in towards a direction that is going to make you more money, then that's a massive cost to yourself, and it's a cost to your virtual assistants if you've got virtual assistants doing it as well. Okay, so that's the clear, plain and simple purpose that you need to remember when it comes to chatting. So ultimately, you should be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, coming across as sweet and innocent, but in actuality, being calculated and methodical in all chats taking place. Okay, so sometimes you're going to be managing a model who, let's say, is in the dominant niche. In that case, you don't want to be sweet and innocent. You want to tailor it towards the niche. However, in the majority of cases, with the majority of models that you're managing, you're going to want to come across as sweet and innocent. Okay, when in actuality, you're being very calculated and methodical in making sure that you're making as much money as possible in the back end. Okay, now to be the most effective at chatting, it's important to get rid of all of your core beliefs around money, as this will just limit your earnings inside of your model's account. Okay, lots of people come into chatting with their own core beliefs, and if you're using virtual assistants, you need to make sure that you tell them that they need to definitely drop their core beliefs around about money, because it's just going to hinder you in terms of how much money you can make. So for you, you might not personally see the value in buying content at all. I personally don't. But it's important to remember that this isn't about you. It's about the subscribers in the model's account. And more often than not, they're willing to spend money inside of your model's account. Okay? So, additionally, when you're sending content out to subscribers, you might think that they wouldn't be spending, $50, $100 or $200 for a piece of content, because you wouldn't. As to you, that might be a lot of money. But what you need to remember is that you're not in the same financial position as the other people. Okay? You're in a different financial landscape to what these other people are in. So for a millionaire, $200 isn't that much money at all. So in that case, they would not have a problem spending that amount of money to view a single piece of content. Okay, so money or your financial situation is relative. Okay, so it's different for other people, and what you're willing to spend money on is also different between people. So when you do have subscribers in, don't oppose your own limiting beliefs in terms of how much money you can charge for the content. Okay, so an important note here is that when chatting in the model's account, you may get what we call in the industry time wasters. Okay, these are people who subscribe to the model's account but have no intention of spending money. If you've got a free account where it's free to subscribe to the model's OnlyFans, then you're going to be getting more subscribers, but you're also going to be getting more of what we call these time wasters. So it's important to bear that in mind if you're running a free account, which is why I personally would recommend having at least the minimum subscription that you can charge as a qualifier that people are willing to spend money on OnlyFans. Okay, so they may start arguments, they may haggle on prices, or they may just have free conversations, but ultimately what they're trying to do is they're trying to get attention without paying for it. Okay, and there needs to be a very clear, direct link between the attention they get in the account and the amount of money that they're spending. Okay, so if you identify a subscriber as a time waster, what you can do is you can create a list on OnlyFans. So you can create these lists. You can add these fans or subscribers to these lists. So create a list called time waster, add them to that list. Okay, so then you know not to waste your time talking to them, because you're not going to make much money from talking to them. Okay, it's just going to be a waste of your time, or if you've got virtual assistants in the account, it's going to be a waste of their time. So this way you'll avoid chatting to them where your time is better spent elsewhere on subscribers who are willing to spend lots of money. So ultimately, you have a few different types of subscribers, and it's important as an OnlyFans chatter to know the type of subscribers that are coming into the model's account. So the more time you spend on this, the more you'll start to recognize the patterns in the type of subscribers joining the model's account. But in general, the subscribers are joining the model's account to have a human need that they are lacking in their own life, which is what is causing them to become a subscriber in the first place. You need to understand that if these people were completely fulfilled, then they wouldn't feel the need to subscribe to an OnlyFans model's account. Okay, the reason they're doing that in the first place comes from an essential human need that they're lacking, which is causing them to do it in the first place. So these are the human needs, okay? These are human needs that drive all of us. Okay, so we have certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. Okay, so certainty is the need for assurance that one can avoid pain and gain pleasure. Uncertainty and variety, the need for change, new stimuli, and the unknown. Significance, the need to feel special, unique, important, or needed. Connection/love, the need for a strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something. Growth, the need for expansion of capability, understanding, or capacity. And then contribution, the need for a sense of service and focus on helping, supporting, and giving to others. Okay, so these are needs that we all have. And if someone does have all these needs met, then they're a self-actualized person. They're the best they can be. The majority of people are. And in terms of the subscribers joining the account, they're all almost certainly not. Okay, and they're looking for something. So when chatting to subscribers, you should make it a priority to identify what they are lacking in their life. And then you can build the narrative around that, which is going to help them have that need that they're lacking met. Okay, so for example, I'll give you some examples of the type of subscribers that may join your model's account and the needs that they're lacking. So if you've got a subscriber, you're talking to the subscriber, they've been in the same job for 20 plus years, been married for 30 plus years, and decides to subscribe to your model's account, and at the same time they're saying that they love their wife, maybe they've got a family, then most likely the human need that they're lacking is variety. Okay, so they have the need for change, new stimuli, and the unknown. So then it's your job to give them that variety that they crave, okay, because that's what they're lacking. So you can make up some role-playing scenarios, show them different poses and position of the models, etc. You can get creative with it, but just stuff that meets that human need of variety. Or if the subscriber has an intimate relationship, hasn't had an intimate relationship yet in their personal life, then most likely the need that they are lacking is connection and love. Okay, so in that case, it's important to ask questions about them, appear empathetic, and let them into the model's personal life. Now, when doing this, it's important to identify these needs, because otherwise, let's say you got this person who's been in the same corporate job for 20 plus years, been married, the need that they're lacking is very clearly variety. If you hit this person trying to build love and connection and intimacy with them, where they're already in, a happy, relationship, happy marriage or something like that, then that's not going to hit the spot, and it's not going to speak to that human need that they were looking for to being fulfilled. Okay, so you can't just approach every single subscriber in the sense of really trying to build an intimate emotional connection, because for this subscriber, it won't work. What they're looking for is something fun and spontaneous, with a little bit of variety in their life. And the same goes for the person who hasn't had an intimate relationship yet in their personal life. What they are looking for is someone who's interested, asks questions, sweet, appears empathetic, lets them into the model's personal life. That's what they're looking for. If you hit that person with a bunch of role-playing scenarios and just a bunch of spicy content, that's not really what they're looking for. They came to the OnlyFans because they're looking for a little bit of connection. and they're not looking for all this wild, spicy stuff. Okay, so once you identify the need they're craving, you can add it to the notes section of OnlyFans, so you know that the conversation should be around that specific need. Okay, so when talking to a subscriber, you know that's the need they're looking for, and that's how you should play out the narrative of the conversations that are taking place. Okay, so if you're doing this yourself, you need to make sure you got that front of mind. And if you've got virtual assistants, you make sure you train them up on how to do this. Okay. Now, the more that you provide them the basic human needs that they're missing or they're lacking, the more money you will make from that subscriber. They work in tandem. They literally go hand in hand. Okay. You have need fulfillment. The more you can fulfill the need that they are lacking, the more they'll be financially invested in this, because that's a basic human need that they need. And if you can provide that, then they're going to be willing to spend more money to keep that human need. Okay? So plain and simple. Now, we also have a process called whale identification when talking to subscribers in the model's account. Okay? Now, a whale, in terms of OnlyFans management, is essentially a subscriber who's willing to spend more than $1,000 inside the model's account. Okay? So these whales in the model's account will be roughly around about 80% of the revenue that you generate from chatting. Okay, while the non-whales in the account will be roughly 20% of the earnings that you're generating from chatting. Okay, so the majority of the money that you make is going to be from these whales who join the account, who are willing to spend lots of money, which is why it's imperative that you identify these whales in the account early on, so you can make sure to nurture them and focus on them for the majority of the time, because that's where your time is better to be focused, because ultimately that's where the money is lying. Okay, so once you've identified the whale, you want to make sure that you have that identified and clear, so you can create a list again called whales for CRM management in the OnlyFans account itself, or you can use other OnlyFans CRM such as Inflow, Super Creator. They're very similar, and you can use that, and it will basically identify the whales in the account for you. Okay. Now, we take all subscribers that join our model account through this process of whale identification because it's important to do that so we know where to spend our time. Now, to identify whales, it's very simple. Okay, you just need to scope their current situation. So where do they work? How old are they? How long have they been working for? Where do they live? Where do they vacation? What car do they drive? So, if you've got someone, you're asking these sort of questions because you want to get a good understanding of their current financial situation. So if you've got someone who's relatively older, they live in New York, they work as an investment banker, then chances are they've got lots of money to play with. So chances are they can become a whale. Whereas you flip that and reverse it, then essentially what you got is you got someone who lives in a relatively cheap location. Maybe they don't have the best job. They're a fast food worker. They don't have much money to play with. Therefore, likely they're not going to be willing to spend, over $1,000 within the model account. Okay, so you just basically want to ask questions to figure out the current situation. If they're young, then they probably don't have much money to play with. If they've got a good job, again, they're probably in a good situation where they can spend lots of money. So it's just about asking these questions to figure out more about the subscriber. So asking these questions, not only does it do a good job in terms of building more emotional rapport, because you're asking questions, paying a lot of attention to them, paying an interest into them, but at the same time, you can ask these questions to identify whether they're going to be likely to spend lots of money inside of the model's account. Okay. Now, the ultimate test to see whether they are a whale or not is to just send content to them for $100. Okay, so you want to make sure to send a bit of high ticket content to them. Otherwise, if you send just a basic picture and charge $100 for it and they buy it, then they're going to feel like they've been ripped off and the trust is immediately going to be broken. So you need to make sure that you pull out a really nice bit of content that you can charge a premium for it, send it over to them for $100, and essentially if they buy it, most likely they're going to be a whale. Okay, if they buy it without any hesitation, then you know to identify them as a whale because they've got money to play with. And they're just showing you straight away that they don't have any issues spending lots of money inside of their model's OnlyFans account. Whereas if you send it to them and then they hesitate, they don't really want to buy it, they ask a bunch of questions, then at that point, you can identify them as a non-whale subscriber, okay? But sometimes, you may need to build a little bit more emotional connection with them before you can send this bit of content to them and charge them that amount of money. You know, sometimes they are a whale, but they're not willing to spend $100 just yet. But this is a good test to basically get a very nice, simple overview in terms of whether they most likely are going to be a whale or most likely are not. So now when you get that first sale, it's important to just not sit back and relax. You get lots of people who do this. Lots of virtual assistants that I manage have done this, where they make a first sale, they make a bit of money, they're happy with themselves, and they sit back and relax. But this is when they are primed to buy more content. As soon as they buy a bit of content, that's when they're most likely to keep on buying more content, okay? So because the subscriber is in a state where they are aroused, in this state, they are the easiest to sell to. So you want to make sure to respond fast and sell more content as quickly as possible, as you'll most likely have, a 30-minute window to make the majority of content from them, to basically sell the majority of content to them, okay? So you want to be, as soon as they buy that first bit of content, you want to be carrying on the conversation, sell another bit of content, sell another bit of content, and you make the money in terms of these batches when you're talking to these subscribers. Okay, when they're aroused, you sell them lots of content. Okay, so now we have OnlyFans scripting, which is an essential part of chatting inside of the model's account. So OnlyFans scripting is essentially having pre-built content from the model cataloged in the OnlyFans vault with an accompanying script for the pre-built content. Okay, so in the OnlyFans vault, you can basically batch up content. You can give the content a tag. So you can have tag 1, tag 2, tag 3 of a bunch of different bits of content inside the OnlyFans vault. You can do this for organization. And at the same time, you can have scripts to go along with the pre-built content. Okay, now the process, the point of this is to speed up the efficiency of selling content. So rather than you having to go to the model each time, you've got a subscriber who's wanting a bit of content and you have to go to them, you have to ask them to make a bit of content and they have to stop what they're doing and make that content immediately because that's when they're primed to buy it. Instead, you can have the content already pre-made and pre-built. So for the subscriber, it feels like a real-time interaction. However, the content has already been built and the scripts to go along with it have already been made. Now, when it comes to scripting, you can build out, 12 plus scripts. For some of our models, we've got over 30 plus scripts. And you can, each subscriber that joins, you can just push them through these scripts, okay? And when you've got these old subscribers who have been in the account for a while, and they get to the end of the script, so let's say they get to the 12th script, you haven't got another one, at that point you want to make another script that you can push them through. Okay, so you're continually making scripts to push old subscribers through, but at the same time, with each new subscriber that joins, you've then got a bunch of these pre-made scripts and content that you can push these new subscribers through. Okay, and each script, at the end of it, after going through it, you should be making, at least $300 to $500 with each script or sexting session that you've made, okay? Now, the important thing about scripts is the topic around the script, okay? The storytelling around it. So with each script, you want to have a different theme. You want to keep variety in the sexting sessions. So for example, you can have themes such as Netflix and chill, morning quickie, post-gym, date night, etc. You get the point. Lots of different themes that you can have. You need to get creative with it. If your model's in a particular sub-niche, let's say she's an e-girl, you can build themes around gaming nights, stuff like that. If your model's a MILF, you can build themes around that. So if your model's in a particular niche, it's best to build themes around that, okay? So with each piece of content, you'll want the photo setting and model's outfit to fit the narrative of the script, okay? So for example, if you're doing Netflix and chill, you want the content to be around, the model watching Netflix and having fun while she's watching Netflix. Okay, it's important that you don't just send out some generic content, but frame it as a Netflix and chill script because it's not going to feel authentic, it's not going to feel genuine, and the subscriber's not going to be able to get immersed into the conversation, okay, or into the story behind the script, okay. So to start a script, it's as simple as sending a free photo of, let's say we're doing Netflix and chill. There'll be a free photo of a model in a cute outfit watching Netflix, okay? As simple as that, with a nice caption to go along with it, okay? So a caption around her watching Netflix. What should I watch on Netflix? They'll give an example, then you can sell more content around the Netflix theme, Okay, so you want to ensure that with each script, you're pushing them down a story or narrative that arouses them. And this is where the art of storytelling is vital. Okay, it's important that the subscribers feel immersed in the particular story of that section script, because then they can get it into their heads in terms of the narrative that's playing out, and that's going to make them more aroused. Okay, now additionally, with each piece of content you send throughout the script, you want to structure it as more sexually arousing the further you down. So with each piece of content, it gets more arousing for the subscriber, and you want to make sure that you upsell the prices in accordance with how arousing each piece of content is. So an example, model playing with the breasts, $15, model doing a striptease, $25, model getting naked, $40, etc. You get the point. The more arousing the content is, the more you charge. So you're just upselling them throughout the process, okay? So with each piece of content you sell, you want to make the next piece more revealing with a higher price, okay? Now, if you do these key components, so you focus, you make sure that you're avoiding time wasters, you make sure that with the subscribers, you're identifying the human need they're lacking and building the conversations around that human need. You're making sure to do whale identification to identify your top spenders and focus the majority of time on them. And you're building out these scripts, these elaborate scripts that you can keep on pushing these subscribers through. Then you'll easily be able to get your model into the top 1% of OnlyFans creators. Okay, it's very easy just by doing this simple stuff. Okay, so in this video, we kind of talked about, a little bit about the actual chatting side itself. There's still lots more that you can do when it comes to pay-per-views, when it comes to leveraging the wall feed, starting section sessions, and when it comes to live streaming and having chatting alongside that as well. In terms of outsourcing this as well, it's vital. You want to be working on the business rather than within it. So you can outsource it to virtual assistants, where you can essentially just automate the whole task of chatting. So you don't have to do it yourself. All you look at is an end of day report that comes through of how much your virtual assistants are making, and just have calls with them to make sure they're keeping on top of it and making as much money as possible. Okay. So if you're interested in learning more, you're interested in getting, pre-built systems that I built for my own personal agency, the infrastructure I've got for my agency, the model recruitment system, the onboarding system, account management systems, promotional systems, to scale your OnlyFans management agency to $50,000 a month on autopilot, then booking a call down below. There's a link for it down below in the description. Booking a call, and we will get started with basically giving you all the systems, giving you infrastructure, giving you access to the templates, the pre-built SOPs around chatting, around account management, around account setup. All of this, everything is covered. And we'll hook you up with pre-trained virtual assistants as well. We have a community where we pre-train virtual assistants to do jobs such as chatting and manage model recruitment and manage the promotion as well. Okay. So they'll manage each aspect of your OnlyFans agency, so you can fully automate it and it can scale passively without you working on it. Okay, so click the link down below to book in a call, and I hope you got some value from this. Make sure to hit the like button, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.